Aloha and welcome to our boat story. We are leaving on our second day on the Hudson, going up to Albany. We had a somewhat calm / rough anchorage. The waves, as you can see here, that's pretty much what was hitting the back of our boat, and that was slapping it quite good on the swim platform. But it wasn't bad. It was overall protected, but the Hudson does have some waves, and these are probably a good 2.5 feet. But that's the way it is. Last night we were just done at 8:15 at sundown. So we're heading up. We're going to try to go to the town of Athens today. They have a free public dock. No services, but at least we can tie up. We can probably order some groceries from Walmart and some other supplies before we head up to Waterford. So come along and join us on our journey. Aloha, we are Sava, Cynthia, and Alex, along with our 2 dogs, Lucy and Shadow. We're traveling America's Great Loop, a 6,000-mile North American waterway from Florida to Canada and back down via the Mississippi. Follow us on this journey on our boat called Mahalo. It's the view here as we're leaving. It's the Tappan Zee Bridge, I believe is what it's called. I'll put it down below. We're passed under, and our anchorage is directly behind us. That little cove there. The anchor place, if you do use Navionics, is in a shallow area about 5 feet, and that's probably the low tide measurement. Who knows? I wasn't going to risk it because the tide is around 4 feet, which would make us be on the ground because we draft at 4.5. So we anchored at 14, I think at 14 feet or 12 feet, something like that, giving us enough room to go up and down with the tide. And we'll put a review in there if you look for that. Totally impressed with these cliffs, and yesterday we were coming up close, we could see how much of the rock has fallen down, and but yet totally impressive cliffs on the port side as we go up. So we're passing Haverstraw here in New York. Got 2 marinas and a petroleum company that says on Garmin that they sell to boats. Should call them up and find out if that's true.
He's trying to keep her quiet, so I was having oatmeal. So we just abandoned the idea of trying to dock for fuel and water because the fuel dock at the marina that we just looked at, you can hear a train over there going by. The fuel dock we were just thinking of was actually kind of like inside the marina, and the wind is kicked up. Now it doesn't seem bad when we're going northbound, but southbound the wind was really whipping us, and so we did not want to dock since we have enough fuel. More like we wanted to get some more water, but the next fuel dock will get more water. So we're good to go. We just like to have plenty, but we have adequate. So you can see the train going there. It appears to have 2 engines, and then a whole bunch of different types of cargo. And it's quite the long one. I can see it all the way down. You can see the orange cars going by in the distance. So we're on the Hudson. Shadow wants to say hello. And we're passing some parked barges over here on the other side. Oh, look at that old-fashioned riverboat. Sorry for crossing over the isinglass. But look at that. It says Spirit of Jefferson. And boy, I bet she was grand in her day. See the 2 smokestacks up on the front? I don't see a paddle wheel on the back, but I have a feeling it had some sort of small paddles in the back. Very cool. This here almost looks like a military boat, doesn't it, Todd? Is that a military barge? The numbers 1657 are on the front. So we're passing this
Nuclear power plant.
and also this loading dock for something. It's got a long, narrow conveyor belt coming down, lots of smoke coming out of it. This is an active plant.
Quaint little village here north of Haverstraw. Lots of logs and debris washed up at some point. yacht clubs. And we're going to be making a sharp left turn here. It's about the sharpest turn I've seen so far on the Hudson. Coming right up here. From best we see, that little chapel up there looks like Camp Smith, is what Google Maps says. And here we see a fast passenger train coming up the river. So we've got trains on both sides of the river this morning. We've got a bridge up ahead, passenger train on the right, freight train on the left. The tracks are really close to shore here. Now we got hills rising on both sides, quite steep. So we've got Bear Mountain Bridge straight ahead, and you see the green square marker there on the left side, and that right behind there is Bear Mountain Anchorage. And it's a very protected anchorage and deep enough even for this vessel. Just something to keep in mind. It's a beautiful little spot and very well protected on both sides from wind and waves. Smooth going this morning with the tide going up the river. So here you can see the Bear Mountain anchorage. One boat's actually there, very well protected. And then here we've got the Bear Mountain Bridge. The only thing I would say is that you probably hear the railroads, but you're going to hear that on the Hudson anyway. There's railroad tracks on both sides of the river. We were just saying how old this track must be, and there's the tunnel right there carved straight out of the rock. No facade. Pretty cool. That's the Bear Mountain Bridge right here. It's a nice calm day with the tide, but yeah, everything is gray. The bridge is hard to capture because it is gray, the sky is gray, but it's still a beautiful day out on the Hudson.
So we're passing a sailboat on the Hudson. We're near Fort Montgomery, as Ava said, so nice to see some people sailing by.
Aloha, we have West Point straight ahead on the Hudson here. It's really gray. I may not be able to make it out. We'll take a video once we get closer, but what a complex, huge. Yeah, that sure looks like a train station there where those campers are. It's the railroad tracks.
Yellow building up there.
And yeah, this is all part of this West Point area right here.
So here we're getting closer to West Point. We are told by other boaters, of course, that you cannot stop, being that it's military. I have to ask Alex to come gently hold Shadow. Just sit with him. On the opposite side of West Point is a beautiful little cove. I see a sailboat anchored and some homes. And it's quite interesting here. You have this red brick building over here. Not sure if it's in any way tied to the organization. Don't know if all these buildings are housing. West Point itself almost looks like a little fortress right here on the Hudson. Looks like they're constructing maybe a parking garage. We noticed at the base of it there is a tunnel, which this train track that has been going all along beside us on the left-hand side actually goes apparently under. Feel free to write it in the comments if you know more about it, but it appears that the train track goes under into a tunnel there. West Point Academy. Military landmark for the United States. Looks like they have several boats here and a little dock. Beautiful waterfront property here. Such an interesting castle look to it. Really does look like a fortress. So beautiful. And Alex, what did you want to tell us?
Well, it's also on the same place where they mint all the gold coins for the U.S.
So cool. Gold coins are minted right here.
And also other commemoratives.
Very peaceful. A lot of park benches. Oh, it looks like there's some whole bunch of either it's statues or men doing an activity over there in brown uniforms. Yeah, they're moving around there, Alex.
Passing West Point, you got a really sharp turn here to the left. That sounds like a train going underneath West Point.
I think it does go under.
Beautiful mansion though. Alex can show you right here. It's got a part of West Point, I believe, is the Eisenhower Hall Theater right here. Got a whole bunch of security cars over there. And the field and a church on the top. It's been non-stop watching things here on the Hudson. It's not like we've been bored watching Netflix or YouTube. It's been extremely busy. And I'm gonna pass this on to Cynthia because it's a beautiful view here with the cliffs on the left and the right. I just gotta take control of the wheel because we have so many turns here.
I guess I wasn't expecting to have as high of mountains or rocky cliffs here. I heard about them. Very pleasant, very beautiful. So not too far after we passed West Point is this quaint little town right there. I don't know if they have a fuel dock or anything, but I don't think so. We're looking for a place to get more water and some fuel.
We're approaching a Bannerman Castle, we just learned, an abandoned military warehouse right here on this island. They do offer walking tours, they say, but obviously we're just going to go right past it. So here a little bit closer up of the Bannerman Castle, the old military warehouse. So from the other side, the north side, we can see the Bannerman Castle ruins a little bit better than we did from the south side. Looks like they got some supports there to keep the walls up. That'd be fun to visit though. We're passing the town of Newburgh on the Hudson. And that on the left looks like Old Town. Looks like a street goes straight up. It's pretty. The Newburgh Beacon Bridge. Straight ahead. Out of these power plants. Doesn't even look like there's much going on. Don't even know if it's actually in operation. There's a truck there. So here we have a sailboat going by. Looks like a nice one. How big do you think it is, Alex? I think it's like a 36 foot. Yeah? Maybe 40. Aloha, further up the river, got this monstrous, I think it's a gravel pit. A quarry of some sort. So I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's two over there that are dropping over here and over here. They're dropping the gravel or whatever they're dropping, making those piles. It's pretty cool. Monstrous building though. Monstrous building. If you look carefully there, this cutest little tug right there, and it looks like this is ready to go and he's ready to pick up. got a big medical center here in this little town. We got the Franklin Roosevelt Mid-Hudson Bridge straight ahead. We just had a state trooper pass us. Nice to see that they patrol this part of the world. Big cemetery there. Another view of the medical center and the Franklin Roosevelt Mid-Hudson Bridge. So we got looks like a Canadian guy here going north next to us, just passing us. Here's the Franklin Roosevelt Mid-Hudson Bridge. Then we got a railroad bridge with no name. Can't take pictures of all the beautiful homes here, but we're impressed with the lawn here. Look at the lawn on this home.
Has a tiny
little boathouse, yeah.
We just passed a monastery, and here it looks like a outbuilding, almost in the design with the struts under the roofs. Reminds me of a train station building from back in the day.
Yeah, it does. Train depot, yeah.
And then beside it is almost like maybe somebody uses that as a well. I mean, that's where they could have the intake of the water, you know, and that little low house over there. So interesting. Now there's signs posted, which I imagine if we got close would say do not enter. But somebody is coming down there and taking care of the green grass around it. But what interesting stories behind this little building, I wonder.
Not the Vanderbilts, but still a very beautiful, yeah, Mount Vernon's a beautiful estate. It's been there for a while. 2 chimneys either side. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Very nice estate.
It's been very calm going up the river. We've been sort of riding this tide going in for hours, pushing us about 1.6 plus miles an hour extra up the river. Hey, we're passing Kingston. Kingston has a maritime museum, a good tie-up. The prices certainly have gone up. It used to be $2.50 a foot, now it's $3.25. I heard as of today at the maritime museum. That's getting pretty steep. Aloha. So we have this barge just call us a moment ago. He's down here, as you can see right here on this blob. And I'm gonna put the radar up so you can see. There he is right there. He just told us to get out of his way, so we're staying to the far right of the channel so he can get by. He's right there. He's good size. He would run us down. Aloha. So we got the looks like a oil transporter of some sort. No, that's not what it says. It says cement transporter. There it is, overtaking us, going up the river.
So this was our first little bit of sun today. You can see the red train bridge there connecting between this peninsula and the next. Some lovely homes. It does give you a little bit of a glimpse of what this whole area would be like if we had had blue skies to come down through West Point. But anyway, we're just delighted to see anything with a little bit of sun on it. But how pretty is that? Those homes are just soaking that up here this evening. So very nice. This is our first rainbow of the loop. So we're just so delighted that we got some sunlight and we saw rainbow. So we're just so excited. And here's Alex and Zava. And Zava's addressing some alarm.
Yep, potential hazard, but I can't see the hazard. It's straight ahead.
So cool.
Aloha and mahalo for watching our episode here from the Tappan
We were near
Z
Germantown.
Bridge, I think is what it is. Tappan Z Bridge, I think.
The last one.
And that's where we started with the anchorage and came all the way up to Athens. And this is Athens. On Friday afternoons, evenings, they actually have a concert here in town. And we're here at their free dock, which is really nice. There's no services or water, but we can tie up for free, and we are right here at the concert. So we're just glad we got here before sundown, which is rare on this trip. But thank you for joining us. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you again on the next journey up towards Troy and Waterford and Albany, New York.